Hello ladies and gentlemen, MarauderEX here, back with more Let's Play Castlevania Curse of Darkness, and as you can see, things are exceptionally sped up. Some fun music in the background. I'm doing the two towers, Tower of Eternity and Tower of Evermore. Tower of Eternity, we go up 50 floors, Tower of Evermore, we go down 50 floors. So instead of watching me do 100 floors of basically the exact same room, I sped through this, very much so. The whole video itself took around an hour to do. The first tower, fairly easy. The second tower has some rough spots. Mostly because of a couple of enemies that show up that are just a right nasty pain to deal with. The first tower is going to be enemies that you encounter at regular level intervals. Blah, blah, blah. So like, and every couple levels we have random skeletons, so it's really kind of interspersed. And this one we get more items. We get something every 5 levels. So on like level 10, level 15, level 20, 25, etc. So you get kind of a reprieve. The second tower you don't get as much of a reprieve. Also the music in the background is from the Castlevania LP by Vernian Process. I love his music. It's just amazing. Every time he comes out with a new album, I download it. It's all downloadable on his channel, which I will have a link to in this video as well. Go check it out. It's great. He's done a lot of video game related albums. Fantastic stuff. And you know, I've asked him if I could use his music before, and he was like, "Oh, sure, please." I mean, like, he's not one of those guys that's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be a complete and total douche about." It's like, no, get my stuff out there. So, hopefully he likes the free advertising. So yes, we are already several levels into this tower. What's funny is this video is going to be shorter than my backtracking video. My backtracking video was almost 40 minutes. This is going to be barely 20. It's kind of crazy. And as you saw, for the most of it, I was using the high-end because its attack bonus, or its attack calculations, it was different. So it was doing consistent amount of damage to a lot of bad guys, really easy to deal with. When we got to the fencers, they seemed to not take as much damage from it, so I switched back to the laser blade. And then from that point on, we have a lot of flying enemies, so I might as well keep the laser blade equipped. There are a couple of guides out there to tell you what enemies show up on what floors. You can steal from any of these enemies as you would steal from their normal out of the tower counterparts. So if you are looking for specific stuff, you can come here. There is one enemy that shows up just one time at the end of the Tower of Evermore, the first time you go through it. So don't expect to get through all of it and fight it again, because it will not be there. Also, I break out the Innocent Devil. There are a couple of guides about what Innocent Devils to use, especially for the second tower, because Innocent Devils are kind of a commodity that you need to prepare for the second tower because of its difficulty. I did not. I just went in with what I had, and given the fact that I had farmed a lot and as a subsequent result power leveled a fair bit, I was not in as bad a shape as I was expecting to be in without having to get, you know, a couple Innocent Devils. They suggest taking in at least 2 fairy types and then 2 battle types, and then whatever else you want to do. I used the strategy of the sacrifice brooch a lot, because most of the floors that have multiple enemies will drop hearts, so that's free healing for them, whereas I have to use either healing for my fairy type Innocent Devil, or I need to use a healing item that I have a limited quantity of. We do get high potions in the Tower of Evermore and regular potions here in the Tower of Eternity. So, as you notice, I'm not using any of the regular potions because my health is close to full all the time. So, this tower really is kind of a joke based off of what level I am. If I had come and done this tower at the very beginning, when I was first here, it would have destroyed me. I would have gotten to about this point, and it would have killed me. So waiting this long made this tower really easy. The next tower, bearable. Like I really actually thought a couple of times as I was recording. And oh, here we are, 50th tower, or 50th floor. We get the kit bag, increases the number of accessories that we can equip. That's actually kind of a big deal. And then if you look over the distance, we see another tower. That's how you get to the other tower. You have to have long glide, specifically long glide, and you just glide off the tower. I've been told that you need long glide specifically, but it seems weird. It seems like as long as you glide off of it, there would be something else there. So I don't understand. And I also really don't have a lot of accessories to make use of the third accessory slot. So, but now that we're here, long glide into the moonlight toward the second tower, and eventually it just does that. So I think regular glide can get you there as well, given the distance of that. And the Tower of Evermore, we work our way down the tower. So this one will be a little bit different, because you start off at 50th, and by the time you hit the first floor, it's rough. So yeah, we'll have fun with that. And as you can see, I've already taken a fair bit of damage just on the first floor from these snipers. This floor, or this tower, does not pull any punches at all. So be very careful about that. And notice how the enemies in this tower are also slightly a weirder level than what you saw them for. There will be like unicorn enemies, Amadakas, the upgrade of the unicorns, I can't pronounce their names, that are like 1 or 2 levels higher than their regular real-world counterpart, just to make them a little more difficult. So there are a lot of enemies in this tower that you will find again that are just slightly stronger. And then we have these Red Ogre level 75s. Those are the guys that will start messing you up, because they will become more and more frequent and more numerous. There's one floor where I think it's just 5 of them, and you have fun with that. And to maximize my amount of hearts for Tink, I use the Healing Field ability. I could have used Gold Heal, but I'm going to be saving that for the final couple of boss fights. Not that, money is a thing, but why not? I also really hate dragons. I hate the dragons in this game. The more I think about it, the more I hate them. Also, I did not keep the Gatling gun weapon. I just made that to show, and then went back to a previous save file. Because I would much rather have the high end. I probably should have mentioned that, the beginning of the video, when I'm using the high end. Like, I did not go and make another one. I just did not keep the Gatling gun. I really wish the Gatling gun could be altered in its firing arc. Like, if I could aim it up and down, that would be a little more useful. But as it is now, not quite a thing. So, also, I really hate dealing with final guards in here, because that whole, oh yeah, I can block anything and everything if I'm not attacking. It's like, you are the worst, kind of suck. But we got an adamantine. I get a bunch of items and materials in here that will help. I got another carton of milk from one of the fleamen. So that's, useful. I could get the dragon scales from the I don't know if it's the Skeleton Rider or if it was the Dragon Rider from the previous game, but at this point I also start religiously checking candlesticks in case they drop food, because anything that I can get away with healing without having to use my Innocent Devil at this point is, you know, the best. I do need to get another Sun Tier from killing one of the Ifrit type enemies, but I really just don't want to mess with that. I should probably get a couple more so that I could deal with making sure I get all of the craftable items, but I really don't think I'm going to go 100% for the craftable items. I kind of want to, especially since I'm already going fairly close to 100% with everything else. Like, I will have 100% map completion. That's the goal. But, I mean, it's really rough to get some of these items. It's just such a pain to deal with. And for that floor, I brought Orko out so that he could purify, and then I switched to my Devil type to try to bring him back, because I was hoping that the number of enemies would have just dropped more hearts, but they didn't. Sad. And I should probably turn off Evo crystals at this point. I don't know if that would increase the drop rate of hearts, but right now I really don't need Evo crystals, and they're dropping, and I need hearts. So that's something to, you know, keep in mind. It's not something I've tested, so I don't know how that works at all. So could be a thing. And we have the giant executioners. I forget what you can steal off them, but I've stolen a lot of stuff off them. Uncursed doesn't really help me. And I love the music. I used a couple of the same tracks twice, but it's worth it. Mostly because I wanted something, you know, fast-paced. So, like, a lot of the Symphony of the Night stuff was kind of out. It's just not fast-paced enough, especially for the fact that I'm... the first tower, I think I did 300% speed increase. This tower, I'm doing 500, I think? So, yeah, that's what I did to make sure that this got down under a half hour. I could have done 300 for both and still kept it within, you know, reasonable numbers, given how long my last video was. But with the upside, once these two towers are done, we're done with all of the backtracking, anything else in the castle other than Dracula's castle itself. So the next video we can just go into Dracula's castle and not have to worry about leaving. We are done with that. We can just keep going. And there were supposed to be bad guys that show up here, and I'm like, what? There they go. It took forever for the Fleamen to show up. This tower, the easy levels, where you get items, Fleamen will still show up. So it's like, okay, that's dick. But for that floor, they did not want to spawn. Like, I could have taken the potion and just ran, and I would have been fine. But since they were just Fleamen, I wanted to kill them in hopes to get some hearts. And naturally, not a lot of them spawned, and even fewer of them dropped hearts. So, and we also have a new enemy here that we hadn't seen, Duke Mirage. He's a level up of the Baron type. He also has a steel, but I don't know what it is. I haven't, you know, checked, because I forgot that I'd be running into him here. But we will be seeing him in Dracula's castle, so I will be stealing from them then. So I was kind of hoping for, you know, fighting some unicorns that I'd get another Beelzebub seal, and then I remembered how many of them I had to kill to get the first Beelzebub seal. As I kind of want another 7-bladed sword, and if I do decide to say, hey, you know, I want to be, you know, just completely batshit crazy and make the Death Scythe, I'll need another 7-bladed sword. So that's a thing. But yeah. And for some other reason, a potion popped from one of the candlesticks, which kind of helped. And another potion. That was... And we have 2 potions here. So, yeah, and then meat. So that's... At this point, I'm like, okay, I'm good on health for me, but Corpsey's gonna die. And I think Orko's pretty much dead at this point, too. So, I've got 8 floors left, including the one I'm on. And this one has blood skeletons that just won't die. So, I was like, I kinda need to be... you know, fairly conservative, and then I sit here and I use Demonic Explosion over and over and over again. So that, the theory of conservation went completely out the window. I'm kind of disappointed that I don't have any heart refreshes. Like, I know they're an item in this game. I thought I had one, but I don't. So, and even if I did, they probably wouldn't, you know, be all that common. I would expect them to be kind of rare, which kind of sucks. And at this point, I'm not dealing with him head on. The level 75 ogres, their sweeping attack, where they just swing their mace, it does over half my health if I take a full hit from it. Like, it does a ridiculous amount of damage. So I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I've got fire. And this is what started taking a great deal of time, but I also did not want to sacrifice my innocent devils for these guys, because I only have, I think, 2 left, which one of them is Tink, and I'm pretty sure they would take Tink out with one swing if they managed to connect. And so, like, no, we're not playing that game. So, the Fire Flask is actually kind of useful. It's just as broken as the Holy Water in some Castlevania games, minus the Hydrostorm ability. But it does rapid attacks. The first hit does like 18 points of damage, give or take, and then it does 12 points of damage fire to the level 75 Red Ogres. So, and here I just go all out with using Bone Storm, which at this point I probably should have brought out something else, because those little bastards were dropping stuff like crazy. And on the second floor we have Vampire Blood, which is only stealable from Dracula, I believe his first form. And then we have here the Gold Skeleton, Golden Bones. He has, I think, 12,000 HP? Like, a ridiculous amount of HP. So I'm just sitting here wailing away on him with all of my abilities, all of my attacks, and just wondering why he's not dying. I actually took a couple of minutes to double check to see what his HP was. But killing him nets you a ton of XP and the Miracle Egg. And then we have a breakable wall here, which takes us, once it loads, to, I believe, Garibaldi Temple. Yep, so that's it. Those are the 2 towers. I am done with all of the backtracking. We have 100% complete on pretty much all the maps except for the Aqueduct, and we still have to finish that one as we go there. So I'm done, and I will see you guys in the next installment.